Hey guys, I'm gonna be telling you guys, showing you guys the top 10 most homophobic countries in the entire world. Number 10 would be India. It's an estimation that there's a total of 2.5 million people in India. All of them are living under fear of being beaten for being a homosexual. But in 2005, there was a law that was passed that made it to where in India it's fine if you're gay. Basically, they had complete rights. But then 4 years later, that law got reversed, and then they lost all their rights again, which sucks. But what's ironic about this is that despite that, they're completely fine with the transgender known as heteroides, which another reason why that's ironic is that cause that makes them one of the few countries that recognize the third gender. Number 9 would be Russia. In 2015, a law was passed which made all kinds of homosexual propaganda illegal, which includes public demonstrations, LGBT right groups, and any form of entertainment with a homosexual story line or character inside of it. So any story that's about homosexuals or has a character that's homosexual inside of it. And there was certain anti-LGBT rights activists in Russia that believed that not only is it not okay for them to be gay in Russia, they believed that it was dangerous to humankind throughout the entire world. So anywhere in the entire world, they believed it was not okay. Number 8, Cameroon. If you're in Cameroon, you can go to jail for 5 years. 5 years for being homosexual, or for showing any kind of homosexual relations or any kind of homosexual act. An example of one of these things happening, somebody getting in trouble, would be the fact that in 2011 a text was sent by a man named Roger Ambidit, and the text that he sent a text to another man. He said, "I am in very much love with you." They found out about this text, and then he got his ass landed in prison for 50 months in 2013. And then in 2013, another example would be in 2013, Eric Ambidate, an LGBT rights activist, was killed in his bedroom and tortured by having his bones broken and then burnt with an iron. Would not want to live there. Number 7, Jamaica. In the 2011, Jamaica was actually ranked as the most homophobic country in the entire world. Now, there, if you're gay, you go to jail for 10 years with high and powerful labor. So not only would you go to jail for 10 years, you'd also have lots of labor that you'd have to be due to happen as well. An example of one of these situations happening would be LGBT rights activist Brian Williamson, who was stabbed to death in 2004 after he was killed, a crowd of Jamaicans surrounded his house, and they all sang Boobaline, 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 or whatever. I can't pronounce that word, sorry. But anyways, basically that's a song that encourages to shoot, kill, and burn gay men. Pretty fucked up, if you ask me. How much time do I have on this phone? I was just making sure my videos can only be a certain amount of time. I was just making sure I wasn't running out of time. Anyways, next one would be Nigeria, number 6, Nigeria. And the American think tank. Oh, sorry. In the American think tank, researchers they went to 39 different countries and asked a total of 38,000 people what they believe and think on homosexuality and gay marriage. The highest dislikement rate, basically percentage against them, was Nigeria. 98% of the people in Nigeria are against homosexuality and gay marriage. And if you live on the north side of the Nigeria, it has been stated that it's criminalized and punishable by death, and you can be stoned. So, yeah, pretty shitty place to live in, if you ask me. Number 5, Malaysia. It's here. It's legal for women to have sex and be lesbians, but it's perfectly fine. But for gay men, for guys, no. And if you want to be specific for the exact punishments that you'll get for being gay, as a male, not a female, it's considered as a crime for men to do this, to be homosexual, and it can lead to you going to jail for 20 years, so 20 years in prison, and not being allowed to join in the Navy. And also, due to this, nobody outside of there that lives in another place of the world can visit there if they're homosexual. So if they get there and they're homosexual and they weren't born there, they will get kicked out. Number 4, Iran. If you're homosexual there, which this includes, the punishments for this includes women for this one too, not just men. If you're a man and you're homosexual, you will get hanged to death. In fact, it's estimated that since 1979, there's about 4,000 to 6,000 people that were hanged to death for being gay. However, lesbian activity is still punished, but it's not punished as greatly as being gay. So girls get punished, but not as badly as guys do. If you're a girl and you're gay, you'll get whipped hundreds of times. It just depends on a lot of things. How many times you get whipped for? There's no specific exact answer for that. Now, what sucks here is that in 1887, there was a law that was passed that legalized sex changes. Now, the reason why this is not good is because, well, thanks to this law, parents of gay children routinely force their children to undergo unwanted hormone treatment and chemical castration and sexual resignments. So in other words, to sum that up, basically they're pretty much trying to force their child to be heterosexual. They're doing it to make them look as if they're heterosexual, but just based off of what they're doing to them and the mood that they're putting them in, how they treat them. They're trying to force them to change, which is not possible, by the way, because you do not choose your sexuality. I do not give a rat's ass what any of you guys think. It's not a choice. But anyways, moving on. Number 3, Uganda. It's estimated that there's a total of 500,000 gays that live in Uganda that are under the threat of the government of being in prison by governmental law. In 2010, several homosexual lives were at risk when the Ugandan Timplaint newspaper published and posted pictures of them and their home addresses under a headline known as "Hang Them." One of these people included David Kotu, who was, and then a few months after it was published, after his picture got published and address got published, he was stabbed to death. Okay, let me check on the time. Okay, number two, Saudi Arabia. Well, Saudi Arabia actually operates under very, very strict Sharia laws on any there, and because of that, in any kind of homosexual activity makes you get stoned to death. So anything that you do, basically, homosexuality related, male or female, gets you killed, stoned to death. To be, I guess, a little more specific, but they mean basically the exact same thing. But but not only this, if you're there, you also get punished for being unmarried. Some typical punishments for not being married, if you're a man, is 100 blows with a whip, so being hit with a whip over hundreds of times, castration, and banishment from the entire country. Those were some common punishments just for not being married. But if you choose to get married by a guy, or even try to get married by a guy, or anything homosexuality related at all, you will be stoned to death and be killed. In 2014, a man was caught arranging dates with other men on Twitter. He got arrested by religious police and sentenced 3 years in prison and 450 lashes, so whips. You know. Number one, Afghanistan. Here in Afghanistan, it's homosexuality. It's literally basically completely shunned off of existence, and it's often very, very, very oftenly punished by death. It's because it's shunned off so badly. It's actually legal for parents to kill their homosexual or cross-dressing children in order just to remove the shame of the family. That's how bad it is. Then there's also a culture that was named Bakabazi, which is basically when they dress when they dress men young boys, child boys, as the opposite sex, and then they will sexually abuse them just for the entertainment for older men. Really, really messed up, at least in my opinion. Okay, thanks for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it and liked it. Have a good one. Bye.